Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X are towering figures in the fight for racial equality. Both men dedicated their lives to uplifting Black Americans during the Civil Rights Movement. King and Malcolm X confronted racism and segregation. They demanded justice and equality for their community. Although they shared the same goal, their approaches differed significantly.
Martin Luther King Jr., born Michael King Jr., was a Baptist minister. He emerged as a leader of the Civil Rights Movement in the mid-1950s. King's philosophy was rooted in Christian principles. He believed in nonviolent resistance, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's teachings. King advocated for peaceful protests, boycotts, and marches to expose the injustices faced by Black Americans. He believed that love and understanding could overcome hate and prejudice.
King's message resonated with many. He led significant campaigns including the Montgomery bus boycott. This boycott started after Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus. This event sparked a movement that lasted over a year. It forced the city to desegregate its public transportation system.
Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little, had a different path. His experiences with racism and discrimination shaped his worldview. He joined the Nation of Islam while in prison. The Nation of Islam preached Black nationalism and self-reliance. Malcolm X became a powerful advocate for these ideas. He believed in self-defense against racial oppression. He challenged the nonviolent approach advocated by King.
Malcolm X's fiery rhetoric resonated with those who felt frustrated with the slow pace of change. He criticized white America for its hypocrisy and called for Black pride and unity. He believed that Black people needed to control their own institutions and destinies. Malcolm X later modified his views after a pilgrimage to Mecca. He embraced a more inclusive understanding of Islam. He acknowledged the possibility of racial harmony. Both King and Malcolm X achieved significant victories in the fight for civil rights. King's leadership in the Montgomery bus boycott, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, and the Selma to Montgomery marches, among others, helped expose the brutality of segregation. His efforts led to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These landmark legislations outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Malcolm X's impact was equally profound. He raised awareness about the plight of Black Americans and instilled a sense of pride and self-worth in many. His call for self-reliance resonated with those who felt marginalized and unheard. Although he did not live to see the passage of major civil rights legislation, his ideas influenced the Black Power movement. This movement emphasized Black self-determination and cultural pride. Diverging paths, shared vision, a comparison of approaches. King and Malcolm X's methods differed significantly, reflecting their contrasting philosophies.
I believed in nonviolent resistance as a means to achieve racial equality. Violence would only perpetuate the cycle of hate.
King aimed to appeal to the moral conscience of white America, urging them to recognize the injustice of segregation.
On the other hand, I believed that violence was sometimes necessary for self-defense. Black people have the right to protect themselves against racist attacks.
Malcolm X questioned the effectiveness of nonviolence in the face of violent oppression. He believed that Black people needed to assert their power and demand respect. Despite their different approaches, both King and Malcolm X shared the same goal: freedom and equality for Black Americans. They both challenged the systemic racism that permeated American society. Their methods were a reflection of their life experiences and their understanding of the best way to achieve social change. The legacies of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X continue to inspire and shape the fight for social justice today. King's message of nonviolence and his dream of a society free from racial prejudice remain powerful reminders of the importance of peace and equality. Malcolm X's emphasis on Black empowerment and self-reliance continues to resonate with those who fight for social justice and equality. Their lives and work remind us that the pursuit of justice requires courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to equality. Both leaders, despite their different approaches, left an indelible mark on American history. Their legacies continue to inspire generations of activists and advocates fighting for a more just and equitable world.
The fight for equality has evolved, encompassing issues like economic justice, healthcare disparities, and educational opportunities. The work of King and Malcolm X serves as a reminder that the pursuit of a just society requires constant vigilance and action. The struggle for racial equality did not end with the civil rights movement. The echoes of King and Malcolm X's calls for justice can be heard in contemporary movements like Black Lives Matter. This movement highlights the ongoing issue of police brutality and racial profiling that continues to plague Black communities.
One of the most important lessons to glean from the lives of King and Malcolm X is the importance of dialogue and understanding. Though their approaches differed, they both recognized the shared humanity of all people. They understood that true progress requires empathy and a willingness to listen to and learn from those who have different experiences and perspectives. By engaging in meaningful conversations about race and inequality, we can begin to dismantle the systems of oppression that continue to divide us. We can work towards King's dream of a nation where people are judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, though different in their approaches, were united in their unwavering commitment to racial justice. They remain icons of the civil rights movement, their legacies etched in the annals of history.
Their lives and work serve as a beacon of hope, reminding us that even in the face of adversity, change is possible. As we continue the journey towards a more just and equitable society, let us remember their teachings, honor their sacrifices, and never cease striving for the full realization of their dreams.